Hello and welcome. Today's video is very different from what I've previously done. Today I'm talking about a terrible band that never really should have existed and the piece of shit running it. Today's video is on Blood on the Dance Floor and Dahvie Vanity. I hate that name. And his disgusting acts and why he really should have never ended up in the place he was to commit more of these evil, disgusting acts. So we'll start off by talking about Blood on the Dance Floor, which was formed by Dahvie and Christopher Mongolo and Rebecca Fugate in 2006 under the name Love and Fashion, which obviously changed to Blood on the Dance Floor by the time they put out their first self-released album in 2008. That was the only album that Mongolo and Fugate would record with Dahvie. He would they had to leave because they couldn't tour. They were unable to tour with him. So then he met a producer and writer named Rusty Licks Wilmont. And they recruited Garrett Marshall McLaughlin, who went by Garrett Ecstasy, to do backup vocals and screaming. And they released the second album. Ecstasy was then replaced with the most permanent member other than Dahvie, Jeremy Brian Griffiths, or Javon Monroe. They also added drummer and rapper Nick Nasty Wenzel. Jesus, some of these names are fucking ridiculous. Anyways, they went on and released a few albums, did a bunch of touring. They played Warped Tour, and they gained a pretty big, decent sized following. And quick side note, this is just something. The first thing I ever saw from them was back in 2015, I believe. I was watching Rob Gavigan. It's Why Would You Put That on the Internet? And he mentioned and showed a few fans, and that was they're pretty fucking as nuts as the music is. It's just obscene garbage. I listened to some of it while researching this video, and it is very bad. And I mean, I really don't see the appeal to that. I mean, I'm into the screaming stuff, but it's like I didn't find even that good at all. And then just the overly disgustingly sexual lyrics. Like I usually don't care like about saying, like, I usually don't really care what you say in your songs as long as, you know, I might not be into, but like this was actually like kind of gross, especially considering how old their fan base really was. Anyways, they did some collabs with Jeffree Star, who, I mean, later distanced himself, and, you know, told everyone what a piece of shit he was. But they also did a collaboration with Lady Nicole Nograd, who later came out and said that she felt disrespected by the band while working on the song with them and the music video, and then I guess she had to fight with them to be credited. I believe there's a lot more to that story. I might look into that for another video, actually. Um, but they continued touring until like 2016 when Dahvie announced that they were disbanding because Jay left. And there was some drama between that, and I would like to look into that as well. There's been a lot of members that have been in and out. Like nobody wants to stay around this guy for very long. And that's become fairly obvious while doing all this research. Even after that, he said they were disbanding and then kept going. Like he's his most recently, I saw that he released music in 2019. But the most recent music related thing I've seen from about him was that all of his music has been removed from Spotify due to 21 allegations of sexual assault against him. And a lot of those were underage girls. So that's going to be what we're going to be slightly touching on next here. So this is where the video gets pretty dark, but also fairly important. So in 2007, now remember, he had kind of started his band-ish in 2006. A 14-year-old girl named, I'm not gonna say names because I feel weird saying, even though, anyways, met Dahvie on MySpace. He was 22 at the time and a hairstylist going by the page. He already had a decent following, and his page name was Dahvie the Elite Hair God, because he is such a modest person. Anyways, he told her he wanted to give her a new look and dye her hair and stuff, and he convinced her mom, who was a single mom who, worked nights and stuff. So he drove across the country to meet, or to do this. Her mom was gonna be there when they planned it, but then he was. I feel like it was on purpose. Purposely was hours late, so that by the time he got there, the mom had to leave for work. So the mom left for work and let her daughter, not really thinking anything of it, right? But when they were alone, Dahvie decided to force himself inside of her mouth and force her to perform oral on him. She was obviously confused and hurt because they'd gotten to know each other a little bit before meeting over MySpace, and she didn't really know what to do. So about 8 days later, she then called into a Christian radio show that helps teens with problems and told them what he did to her. And they promptly called the police, as they should. So good on them. Who showed up to the girl's house, who eventually, reluctant at first, because she didn't want Dahvie to get in trouble because she thought they were friends, and it was a whole terrible situation. She finally gave them his MySpace name, and they managed to track him down. And they briefly investigated, and he was charged with lewd assault of a minor. I forget exactly what it was called. But he basically got off scot-free and was let go because he told them it was a misunderstanding or something, and the girl and her mother decided not to prosecute as long as he dropped contact with them completely. So obviously he just did that, apologized, dropped contact, and went on to continue doing things like that for the next 10 years. So while writing and researching this video, I realized there's far too many accusations to go over in one video. There's a lot of bullshit I could probably cover over a few videos, and I might make more about them. There were a few points that I kind of highlighted that I might make separate videos on. But I just wanted to highlight that first one, because that first one was before he got famous. Before he had a following on MySpace, but his band hadn't taken off yet. He wasn't touring and stuff, and I feel it shows an underlying issue with fame and just with the industry in general. And it's something that, like, he only had a small taste of fame, of not even fame, of notoriety, and managed to manipulate his way into that first position where he could do that. Was caught and was allowed to continue on, was allowed to become more famous. And you kind of saw the same thing with Austin Jones. He was caught. He said, "Oh, I'm sorry." People let him off. And then he just went on and did it again. Like, I mean, the difference, Dahvie is way worse than Austin in both music sense and in the sense that, yeah, Austin is disgusting, obviously. But he wasn't forcing himself. Yeah. But the problem is the same with both of them. They both seem to have some sort of protection from, like, fame just seems to protect them. People like that. And not, like, neither of them know, or neither of them can handle being famous without abusing it. And we've been seeing a lot of that over the last couple of years, with, like, Harvey Weinstein and Bill Cosby and other bigger names like that have been caught abusing their fame and power. But, you know, there's obviously a lot that handle themselves. Well, they might be disconnected from society, from regular people a little bit. They like it's I feel like there's just a certain type of person that just they can acquire fame, it just corrupts them almost too easily. My point is, Dahvie Vanity is a man who should have been in prison, but was allowed to abuse people and make more victims instead. And while only 3 or 4 people might watch this video, I feel even if 3 or 4 more people know about this disgusting man, that maybe, just maybe, he will go to prison or something. Well, thanks for watching. There is, like I said, there is so much more on this guy that I could talk about, and I might. Like I said, there are certain points that I found interesting, but there are quite a few videos out there about his accusations that go through them more thoroughly. Anyways, thanks again for watching. Like if you liked, dislike if you didn't. Subscribe if you want more, and I'll see you next time.